Hello students. In this class, let us start with the new chapter, that is Human Health and Disease. Human Health and Disease. Third unit, first chapter, Human Health and Disease. What is health? What is health? According to WHO, means World Health Organization. According to WHO or World Health Organization, health can be defined as, the term health can be defined as, health can be defined as a state of physical, mental and social well-being. A state of physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Not merely the absence of disease. According to WHO, health can be defined as a state of physical, mental and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. Means a person should be physically, mentally and socially healthy. A person should be physically, mentally and socially he should be healthy. Then only it is called as health. Physically healthy means having a healthy physical appearance. And physical health can be achieved by continuous or exercises, yoga or physical activity, intake of proper diet, then taking proper rest, then maintaining personal hygiene condition of the surroundings, then hygienic or intake of hygienic food. All these are responsible for the maintenance of good health. Good physical health can be achieved by doing physical activity or exercises, yoga, then intake of proper nutrition or proper diet, then adequate rest or adequate sleep, then maintaining personal hygienic condition of the surroundings, then intake of hygienic food, water, etc. These are essential for the maintenance of physical health. Then mental health. Mental health is nothing but a person should be able to maintain the normal stresses of the life. Mental health is a condition in which a person is able to maintain the normal stresses of the life, and he should be able to understand his or her own capacities. His or her own capacities means strengths, and he or she should be cope up with such strengths, and he should be able to maintain the normal stresses of life, and he should be physically and mentally healthy in order to maintain all the stresses of life. For this, meditation is helpful. Yoga or exercises are helpful for the maintenance of mental health. Social well-being means one person should be able to communicate properly with another. Social well-being, maintaining good relationship with the neighbors. He should be socially well-being. When a person is physically, mentally and socially well-being, then he is called as healthy person. Not merely the absence of disease, means he may get some diseases due to the entry of pathogens, or due to the entry of some viruses, or due to the entry of some bacteria, fungi, protozoans, helminths, etc. But after few days or after taking proper treatment, it will be cured. This is the definition of health according to WHO or World Health Organization. Any interruption in the functioning of the body, or condition of the mind leads to disease. So, what is disease or what is disorder? Disorder or disease is nothing but any structure and function of the body is interrupted. Any structure means structure of the organs, structure of the kidney, structure of the liver, structure of the lungs or structure of the heart. If any structure of these organs are changed or any functioning of these organs are interrupted, or if there is any abnormalities in the individual, then that condition is called as disease. Disease is a condition. Disease is a condition in which the structure and functioning of the body, structure and functioning of the body is interrupted or changed. Is interrupted or changed, and appearance of some abnormalities. He looks abnormal. The diseased person looks abnormal, means he is unable to maintain the stresses of life. He is unable to communicate properly with others. That condition is called disease. How we can maintain our health? One can maintain the health by physical activities. Physical activities like exercises, yoga, then proper nutrition. Proper nutrition means intake of nutrient-rich diet, food. Proper nutrition, adequate sleep or rest. Adequate sleep or rest. Then maintaining personal hygiene. And having knowledge regarding the health care. Etc. By these things one can maintain the health. Now let us discuss about the types of disease. And abstaining from drugs and alcohol. Abstaining or avoiding the intake of drugs and intake of alcohol is also essential for the maintenance of health, because at the end of this chapter we are going to discuss about drug and alcohol abuse. Abstaining means avoiding, abstaining from drugs and alcohol. Means one should not take drugs or alcohol. intake of drugs or alcohol affects on health of an individual. Types of disease. Next concept is types of disease. There are many types of diseases. In that, some diseases are caused due to the entry of pathogen. Some diseases are caused due to the entry of pathogen. What is pathogen? Pathogen is an organism. Pathogen is a disease causing agent. Pathogen is a disease causing agent. Disease causing agent or disease causing microorganism. Microbe. Disease causing microbe or disease causing agent is called as pathogen. Some diseases are caused due to the entry of these pathogens. But there are some diseases which are inborn. Inborn diseases means by birth itself such diseases are present in particular individual. There are some diseases which are caused due to the entry of pathogen. Some diseases are inborn and some diseases are caused not due to the entry of pathogen, instead due to the deficiency of some nutrients or degeneration of some body parts, degenerative diseases, deficiency diseases, allergies, cancers, etc. These are not caused due to the entry of pathogen. Based on their origin, causative organism, symptoms, etc., diseases are mainly classified into three types. Based on their origin, pathogen or symptoms, then transmission, etc. Diseases can be classified into three types, such as communicable diseases or infectious. Communicable diseases or infectious diseases. Non-communicable diseases. Second one is non-communicable diseases or also called as non-infectious. Communicable or infectious, non-communicable or non-infectious diseases, and third one is congenital diseases. Congenital diseases. These are the three types of diseases. Diseases can be broadly classified into three types, such as communicable or infectious diseases, non-communicable or non-infectious diseases, and third one is congenital diseases. Communicable or infectious diseases. These are the diseases which are not confined to or which are not remain in that particular individual. Means which are transmitted from one person to another person. So they are called as infectious or transmittable diseases. These are the diseases which are not confined or remain in one individual in which it is developed. Means these diseases are transferring from one person to another. These diseases are transmitted from one person to another. They are called as communicable or infectious diseases. These are the diseases which are transmitted from one person to another person, are called communicable or infectious diseases. And these communicable or infectious diseases are mainly caused due to the entry of pathogens. These are mainly caused due to the entry of pathogens. Communicable diseases are mainly caused due to the entry of pathogens. For example, bacteria, virus, fungi, helminth, protozoans are the different types of pathogens. The entry of this pathogen develops a particular type of disease in an individual. Entry of pathogens are responsible for the development of communicable or infectious diseases. Example, and based on the type of pathogens, we can divide, or communicable or infectious diseases are further classified. Based on the type of pathogen, communicable or infectious diseases are further classified into bacterial diseases, viral diseases, fungal diseases, protozoan diseases, helminth diseases. Based on the type of pathogen, communicable diseases are further classified into 5 types such as bacterial diseases, viral diseases, fungal diseases, protozoan diseases and helminth diseases. Bacterial diseases are the diseases which are caused due to the entry of bacteria. Viral diseases are the diseases which are caused due to the entry of virus. Fungal diseases are caused due to the entry of fungi. Protozoan diseases are caused due to the entry of protozoans, whereas helminth diseases are caused due to the entry of helminths. Ascalminthus, Ascaris. The entry of Ascaris causes the disease called Ascariasis. Ascariasis is the common helminth disease. The best example for protozoan disease is malaria. Best example for fungal disease is ringworm. Viral disease example, common cold. Common cold is the best example. It is common disease, common viral disease. Then best example for bacterial disease, typhoid fever, pneumonia, etc. We are going to discuss in brief about few examples. Then second type of disease is non-communicable or non-infectious disease. Non-communicable or non-infectious disease. Non-communicable or non-infectious disease means these are the disease which are not transmitted, which does not transfer from or which does not get transmitted from one individual to another individual. These are the diseases which remain confined to particular individual, not transmitted from one individual to another individual. It is not transmitted. Not transmitted from person to person. And non-communicable diseases usually develops due to the deficiency of some nutrients. It may develop due to allergies, cancer, allergies, then degenerative diseases, deficiency diseases are examples for non-communicable diseases. Example, deficiency. It may develop due to deficiency of some minerals or deficiency of some nutrients, then deficiency of some vitamins, degenerative diseases, degeneration of muscles, degenerative diseases, cancer, allergies, etc. These are not transmitted from one person to another person. And this non-communicable disease mainly caused due to both extrinsic and intrinsic factors. Intrinsic, it is mainly caused due to intrinsic factor, means deficiency of some nutrients leads to the development of this disease. And this disease is not developed mainly due to the entry of pathogen. Third one is congenital. Congenital diseases. Congenital diseases are inborn diseases. These are inborn diseases. Means by birth only we can observe these diseases in an individual. Congenital diseases are inborn diseases. Means by birth only these kind of diseases will be present in an individual. It develops, congenital diseases develops due to gene mutation. It develops due to mutation of gene, DNA mutation, gene mutation, or it may develop due to chromosomal aberrations. Chromosomal aberrations means deletion of a segment of chromosome, presence of extra segment of chromosome develops congenital disease. Example for congenital diseases includes sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell anemia. Then Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, hemophilia, etc. Color blindness, etc. are example for congenital disorders or congenital diseases. Sickle cell anemia is caused due to gene mutation. Down syndrome is due to chromosomal aberration. So this is about types of diseases. Types of diseases. The development of vaccination, antibiotics, various treatment methods are helpful to maintain the health of individuals. But even though so many advances in the medicine field developed, but there are some deadly diseases which cannot be treated, or that disease may leads to death of an individual. If a person gets a proper treatment at right time, then particular disease may be cured. For example, cancer. If cancer is diagnosed with the early stage, then by giving chemotherapy or radiotherapy, etc., one can treat the disease. If it is diagnosed at the late stages, at the fourth stage, then it cannot be cured. Now let us discuss one bacterial disease. Common bacterial disease. Bacterial disease, that is typhoid fever. Bacterial diseases means these are the diseases which are caused due to the entry of bacteria. The best example is typhoid fever. Typhoid fever is one of the bacterial disease. Typhoid fever. The causative organism means the organism responsible for the development of typhoid fever is called causative organism or causative agent. Causative organism or causative agent of typhoid fever is rod-shaped bacteria Salmonella typhi. Rod-shaped bacteria Salmonella typhi. Salmonella typhi is a rod-shaped bacteria. In first year you have studied the types of bacteria based on their shape. Rod-shaped bacteria are called as bacilli, and the Salmonella typhi is a bacilli. It's a rod-shaped bacteria. The causative agent of typhoid fever is Salmonella typhi, rod-shaped bacteria. Then mode of transmission. Mode of transmission means how this disease gets transmitted from one individual to another individual. Mode of transmission means it's a communicable disease. Typhoid fever is example for one communicable disease, means which is getting transmitted from one individual to another healthy individual. How typhoid fever gets transmitted from one individual to another individual, that is mode of transmission. Typhoid fever gets transmitted through contaminated food or water. Contaminated food or water means the food or water which is getting contaminated with the fecal matter or feces of the typhoid patient is mainly responsible for the transmission of this disease from one individual to another individual. Means, for example, suppose a typhoid patient is excreting the fecal matter or urine near the side of the river or any water, pond or lake or any water source. Then suppose that fecal matter of the patient always contains the bacteria responsible for the disease. Fecal matter of the typhoid patient always contains the bacteria Salmonella typhi. Means the bacteria present in the body of the patient goes out, or it will also goes out of the body through fecal matter or through urine. Suppose that fecal matter or food or fecal matter or urine gets mixed with water, then contamination of the water. There will be contamination of the water, means water gets polluted. Contamination of water. If a healthy individual drinks that water directly, then the pathogen or Salmonella typhi bacteria enters the body of a healthy individual. Suppose at that time if his immune system is weak, immunity is weak, then in his body this disease, typhoid fever, may develop. Most of the time our immune system always fight against the pathogen in order to protect the body. Suppose at that time our immune system is weak, then weak immune system is unable to produce the proper antibodies. Antibodies always fight against pathogen. If our body is strong, immune system is strong, then immediately our immune system recognize the entry of pathogen, immediately produce the antibody, and that produced antibody fight against the pathogen, kills the pathogen and protects the body or prevents the development of particular disease. It takes place when our immune system is strong. Suppose at that time our immune system is weak, then what happens? Our immune system is unable to produce the particular type of antibodies against the pathogen. Then at the same time pathogen multiplies inside the body and it causes infection or it develops particular disease. So the mode of transmission of typhoid fever is through the contaminated food or water, means food or water which is contaminated with the fecal matter of the patient. And one more is house flies. House flies. House flies act as a carrier. They act as carrier, means house flies usually sits on fecal matter. Then they may sit on the food which is kept open, right? That may transmit the bacteria into the food. Suppose if we consume the same food, then we may get typhoid fever. So mode of transmission is through contaminated food or water, or you can write food or water which is contaminated with the fecal matter of the patient. And another one is housefly. Symptoms. Some individuals do not show any type of symptoms throughout their life. They may be asymptomatic, but the bacteria responsible for the typhoid fever will be present in their body. Means the bacteria Salmonella typhi responsible for typhoid fever will be present in their body, but there may not be the appearance of any kind of symptoms. They may be asymptomatic throughout their life. Means they may act as a carrier. In their body, symptoms are not appeared, but they may transmit. That individual, asymptomatic individual, may transmit the typhoid fever to another healthy individual. Suppose he is not washing his hands properly. Through the contaminated fingers or through the contaminated hands, suppose he is serving the food. Then through serving food, he can transmit the disease to another healthy individual. The best example is Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary was a cook in United States. She was a carrier. Typhoid Mary was a carrier and she transmitted typhoid fever unknowingly through the food prepared by her to other individuals. So maintaining proper personal hygienic condition is essential for the maintenance of health. Symptoms usually appears 1 or 2 weeks after the entry of bacteria. Symptoms develops or appears after 1 or 2 weeks after the entry of bacteria. Rarely it may appear after 3 weeks. Means about 7 to 14 days. Usually it is 7 to 14 days. Rarely after 20 or 21 days also symptoms may appear in an individual. The main symptoms of typhoid fever are high persistent fever. High persistent fever of about 40 degrees Celsius, means 104 Fahrenheit, 104 degree Fahrenheit.